friends, it's Gwen. What if I told you I had a way to make your next scrapbook layout super easy to put together? A way that would help re-inspire you to use some of the older supplies that I know you have in your stash. Today I'm scrapbooking my husband, something I find a little bit tricky to do because I would much rather be using flowers and bows, but the secret sauce in today's video solves that problem too. So I guess you could say we're solving 3 problems in one. I have loads to share with you today, so let's jump right in. I'll be using Cocoa Vanilla Studio supplies. This collection is called Legendary, and these are the supplies that I really like to use for all of my boy pages. You may have noticed there that there was a couple of the banners that I did not back. I did all of the backing off camera, and I also made a plan for the page. I find that this is a really great way to save yourself some time backing the cut file. I have had this collection in my stash for some time now, so I was running a little short on some of the pattern papers, the prints that I wanted to use. So it was great to be able to nut out the location for the photo and not be worried about backing those areas within the cut file. A cut file is a really good way to breathe new life into older supplies and stretch supplies that you have. So if you have any collections in your stash that you're not quite sure that you have enough of to complete a full layout, adding a cut file to those can be a really great way to use up those final pieces. They're also a really great way to help you design your page. If you're a creative that struggles with the design for a layout, a cut file can really help with that. And in fact, this one is a special one. This particular design here is the cut of the month for May. These are exclusive cut files that I create for subscribers only. If you'd like to join the cut of the month club and create a layout just like this one, I'll leave some details in the description box below. I have gone with a very geometric design this month. I do make a lot of florals for those gals, and I know that you also need to scrapbook the boys in your life. This is my husband, so I thought I would go with something very classic, very geometric, and something that could be used for lots of different things. Onto the layout design, I am keeping things pretty simple for this one. I'm going to let that cut file do a lot of the work for me, and it is going to fill the background of the page. I'm then going to add my portrait photo, and I'm going to end up with 3 embellishment clusters. This particular collection has a pack of titles included. It's a bunch of really large, bold titles, and when it first arrived in the studio, I set myself the challenge to use them all up. When the layout is complete, I actually go ahead with a Sharpie and cross off that title so that at a really quick glance, I know exactly what words I have left to use up. And I did get 2 on this layout. I do end up calling it Epic Adventure. For someone like me who struggles a lot with masculine layouts, I find that if I can combine my male supplies, so my traditional boy lines, with a cut file that's very strong, geometric based, the page just comes together a lot easier for me. I know you can absolutely use flowers and pinks on boy pages, but for me, I just prefer a more traditionally masculine look. The photo I'm working with is full of blues and greens, so this particular collection was a really good match. I find that if I'm struggling with any particular part of a scrapbook process, going back to basics really helps. And if that means that you have to sort of stick to stereotypes, so, maybe that is primary colors for boys, then you know what? That works, and I'm really okay with that. Okay, so I do have to share with you a bit of an aha moment that I had making this layout. As I mentioned earlier, this is a photo of my husband, and he is a professional photographer. So he took this selfie of himself, and in the background there are a bunch of mountains. I had no idea when I first chose this collection that there were so many mountain icons in it. What I was able to do, which at the time I thought was very clever, was extend the mountains that are in the photo out towards the left-hand side of my page. They end up being the basis for the main embellishment cluster. I'm also going to create an embellishment cluster down the bottom of the page towards the right underneath the photo there. And then I'll balance those two out and create a visual triangle by adding a few elements to the right of the photo. Oh yes, and I did cheat a little bit on the title challenge because the word adventure actually came from a second pack of titles. I had to use it though because I remembered from the first pack that it's a little bit tricky to use because it is quite long. And I felt that this layout in particular, it lent itself really, really well because I had all of that space down the bottom of the photo there. So I am going to build out the cluster here on the right. I did audition a couple of different things. There were a couple of banner icons. I wasn't really sure initially, but I ended up sticking with a circular element, and that is because I have two other circle elements on the left. So I'm trying to balance out that circle shape across the page. A really good way to get a consistent feel for your layout is to repeat similar shapes in all of your clusters. That is super important if you are using a visual triangle, as I am here. So if you were to draw a line between the three embellishment points, the one on the left where the mountains are, the one on the right above the R and the E in adventure, and then the top one there in the top right hand corner of the photo. If you were to draw lines between those, you would end up with a triangle shape, and the photo would be in the center of that triangle. If you then make one of those clusters large, one of them medium sized, and one of them small, you're going to end up with a very balanced page, especially if you then repeat some shapes in each of those clusters. So I do already have circles doing that job, but I am going to add a whole nother layer by adding some stars. The thing I like about these two is that they're a little bit smaller, so it's like adding another level of detail to the layout, and it fits with this geometric look that I've been going with. Of course, I need to do the embellishment audition and mix and match the stars around the page until I'm happy with the balance of colors and the balance of the size of star that I'm using. Things are getting serious because I am gluing stuff down. I am also going to add here in a moment a couple of the sentiment stickers. So all of these collections come with these really cute little typed sentiments. So I am going to add those here in a moment as well. I'd love to know, do you struggle making boy layouts like I do, or do you actually enjoy these ones? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to share any tips that you think might help me. Of course, I have some close-up images to share with you all so that you can see the beautiful detail of the cut file. I did add stitching along each row of the design, which you can see here as well, and of course the embellishment clusters. Thank you so much for being here, my creative friends. I have more male masculine layout inspiration for you right here. I'll see you all in the next video. Until then.